Hey there and welcome. Today we're jumping into something that could be a real game changer for teachers, the AI educational planning process. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's just kick things off with a question that, if you're an educator, you're going to feel in your bones. Seriously, take a second and think about it. How much of your week, your evenings, your weekends is eaten up by lesson planning? It's a huge chunk of your time, isn't it?
And that leads us straight into this core problem for pretty much every educator out there. It's this constant tug of war between the mountain of paperwork you have to do and the very people you got into this profession for in the first place, your students.
You know, it's not even just about the initial planning, right? It's the never-ending documentation. It's making absolutely sure every single lesson ticks all the boxes for standards like the IPGCE. It's creating materials for all the different learners in your classroom. All of this stuff is super important, no doubt, but man, does it eat up the hours. Hours you could be spending connecting with your students.
But what if there was a way to actually shift that balance back in your favor? Well, that brings us to a totally new way of thinking about this. An AI solution that's designed to tackle this exact problem, to help you hit that mark of professional excellence without the burnout.
So what is this thing exactly? Well, the AI educational planning process is basically a really smart, systematic framework. You tell it what you need for your students, and it transforms those needs into complete, really high-quality lesson plans and materials. And the best part? They're already perfectly aligned with professional teaching standards. Okay, so how does it actually work? This is where it gets really interesting. What's so cool about this process is how it mixes a clear structure with total flexibility. It guides you for sure, but you're always in the driver's seat. It's your workflow and it's your choice. The whole thing is broken down into 5 pretty simple stages. You start with your request input. That's you telling it what you need. Then the system applies the framework. You pick how deep you want it to go and what you want the final thing to look like, and boom, you get a perfectly structured lesson plan. It's all designed to be super straightforward. But look, those 5 stages, that's just the skeleton. The real magic, the thing that makes this such a game changer, is your ability to decide just how deep and detailed you want to get. You basically get 2 main paths to choose from. The 3-layer process. Think of that as your daily commute. It's fast, it's efficient, it gets you what you need for your everyday lessons, no fuss. But the 5-layer process? That's your cross-country road trip. It's got everything, all the details, the full documentation, advanced differentiation, the whole shebang. It's perfect for when you're building a portfolio or prepping for a big observation. And then, after you've picked your depth, you choose the final format. The cut selection is exactly what it sounds like. It cuts out the extra stuff and gives you a streamlined plan that's ready for the classroom right now. The pick selection, on the other hand, gives you everything, all the components and the full documentation you'd need for your portfolio or a review. Okay, so that's the how. Now for the really good part. What's in it for you? What are the actual data-backed benefits that could honestly transform your day-to-day? This one is massive. Just let it sink in. A 60 to 70% reduction in your planning time? That is not just a little bit of help. That is a fundamental shift in your work-life balance. I mean, what would you even do with all that extra time? And here's the kicker. You get all that time back without sacrificing an ounce of quality. You get guaranteed 100% coverage of all the IPGCE teaching standards every single time. But it goes even deeper than that. We're not just talking about speed and quality. Your documentation is automatically built and organized so it's always ready for an audit. Inclusive practices like differentiation are just baked right in from the start. And it even helps you weave in culturally responsive elements. It's really impressive. So when you put all of this together, you realize this isn't just another lesson planner. It's a full-on, versatile professional toolkit that's built to support you no matter where you are in your career. I mean, just think about all the ways you could use this. Obviously for your day-to-day teaching, but what about for building that all-important IPGCE portfolio? Or for absolutely nailing that next observation lesson? Or even for collaborating with your colleagues or simplifying the paperwork you need to climb that career ladder? The possibilities are huge. You know, this really makes you step back and think, doesn't it? About what the future of planning could look like. This feels like more than just a tool. It feels like a shift in how we approach the whole craft of teaching. There's a quote from the source material that just hits the nail on the head. The entire point is to slash that prep time so you can get back to what actually matters, connecting with your students and focusing on your own growth as a professional.
And that leaves us with one last and maybe the most important question. If you could get all of that time back, if the administrative heavy lifting of planning was just handled, where would you invest that time? What new doors would that open up for you and, more importantly, for your students? Something to think about.